Good morning, class. There will be no experiments shown today. A blackboard lesson I will try to make quick instead. I will present the lesson in story form to try to keep your attentions. The impulse power demonstration will come soon after the recipe for self-spinning motors is shown. This is my cat Boone, a cat of humble roots, a stray, not very strong or fast, but smart enough to escape animal control. We made a deal. I would take care of him, and he would keep the birds and squirrels away from my garden. He catch and I cook was another part of that deal. Many times I caught him playing in the yard with the squirrels, and the birds laughed as he tried to sneak up on them with his bright colors showing on the green grass. He did bring home some fledglings, but told me there was not enough meat to consider them anything but a snack. He did catch a few birds when the ground was covered with leaves of his color, but he did not know what to do next. This spring he skillfully caught an adult robin a second after it stepped around the corner of a house and immediately started pulling out the feathers. He called for my help. Just like in the cartoons, he had a mouthful of feathers and had to let go of the bird so I could take out the feathers. The bird flew away while Boone choked. He may have used up the second of his 9 lives. Boone was not qualified for the garden job with the tools that he had. A rocket belt would give him the ability to catch the squirrels in the trees and the birds in flight. Here he is eating while the rockets warm up. I am wondering if mouse-catching jobs wouldn't be a better choice. Here he is taking a nap after dinner, not a squirrel or bird caught. The rockets are out of fuel, and he is waiting for me to fill them up. The only jobs Boone may be really qualified for are eating, sleeping, and getting me to do all the work. If we had impulse power instead of rockets, he would be better qualified for a new career, and I would not need to spend so much time refueling. If becoming the first catronaught leads to his fame and fortune, I fear he will not give me any credit or bucks. That fear may have roots from hearing the Little Red Hen story of yore. To become a catronaught, there are many things Boone must learn. What will he breathe, and is there enough fuel, were his first questions. Perhaps a vessel like this would be a good idea. The version with impulse power has plenty of room for air tanks, because little fuel is needed to travel long distances like to the moon. The rocket fuel versions are way out of our price range. What he needs to learn today is neutral points and force balance, which are confused by myth. He is a lot more cautious after the feathers and the tail on fire experience, so he asked, what if he exceeds the escape velocity? Will he fly off to nowhere in space with not enough food? Boone quickly grasped that the escape velocity and moon orbiting a stationary Earth were as valid as flat Earth. So in a small way, he is more scientifically qualified now than many of the lawyers and profiteers from Harvard Law and business schools. The first neutral point of concern is at the staging orbit, where gravity and centripetal force are in balance. Centripetal rather than centrifugal, because the orbit would be elliptical rather than a perfect circle. The vessel will be assembled there to reduce the momentum requirement. The second neutral point of concern is where the gravity forces of Earth and Moon are balanced, a point not precisely known. Wrong speed or direction at that point could be a mistake, costing 8 or 9 cat. Boone is much too busy eating and sleeping to waste time learning about any of the other neutral points. At flight school, Boone got some words of wisdom from Spock. Sailors avoid many problems by keeping the wind at their back. Catronauts should try to keep their thrusters pointed toward the nearest planet, for pretty much the same reasons. Shuttlecraft have forward and aft monitors to deal with this important fact. Spock said, "Don't get the monitors confused." Surprisingly, Spock could not compute the danger in terms of cat lives. Boone learned how to flip the switch a few minutes before the gravity neutral point. Somebody else in the computers did the rest of the work. When Boone got back from flight school, he commented that piloting impulse-powered vehicles was easier than expected, maybe easier than getting me to do all the work. On solo flights, Boone insists that I take the responsibility to wake him 15 minutes before he gets to the neutral point so he has time to snack before he flips the switch. Anybody want a cat? Time is up. In the next class, we will see how Boone dealt with Tokamak Jack, a Bagowin of lofty roots. A little hint about who won.